Do I want to shop and plan my vacations on my television set?
Definitely want to shop.
Of course I want to shop, but does everyone want to shop?
Yeah, it's just made, I think this is the big thing people miss. This is the big thing about the Apple TV was, I was looking at the Guilt co-founder make the presentation. I was like, wow, my addiction problems got way worse than I thought, because now you can see video. I mean, it's not like a tiny screen you're shopping on. High fashion is perfectly shoppable on a big screen TV. That is huge. It's going to be huge. Just wait and see.
Go ahead, Horace.
The other thing is that it suddenly allows that experience of shopping to be a social experience. At least people in the same room can interact with one another. It's the idea of you shop together. And that's very hard to do on a device. If you can imagine, you know, like if my wife wishes to, for example, buy furniture, she's going to have me huddle over the iPad and we're going to go through options. But suddenly you can relax, you can sit back, you can have friends over, you can discuss things like, does that outfit look good, you know, and you can put it all on the screen. And that's the thing, is like what Apple just showed us is that you have wrist space, you have laptop space, you have desk space, and then you have wall space. And what I think is like when an app lives in these different spaces, it's going to get used differently. So what we see, for example, just as a note, Safari does not exist on wrist space, does not exist in wall space. It does exist everywhere else. Safari as a proxy for all browsing. So if you think about it, now browsing is suddenly off limits in these places, or it doesn't make sense. I wouldn't say it's being blocked. It's going to be a different space for a lot of apps.
Tim Cook said this is the golden age of television, but the viewing experience hasn't changed very much. He said the future of TV is apps. You know, is that true, Ben?
I think so. I mean, I think, again, what's interesting about the big screen, right, the TV, is that it's really never been a platform for developers, right? We are, most of us, if you live in a developed country, you've been beholden to a box that somebody gives you, and that hardware is pretty terrible. I mean, right, it's just no getting around how bad it is. And so having a platform that developers can take advantage of, right, and Apple has some of the best developers on the earth compared to any of the ecosystems out there, and saying, what would you do if I give you an SDK and you can do things with Siri, or you can do things with the mic on the remote, and eventually maybe they put a camera in there, right, and start giving you more capabilities. What will their developers do with it and advance the platform? And that's always sort of the hook. But that's I think the interesting part of this is that we've never really seen a big developer community take advantage of the big screen, because they've never had that as a platform before.
I'm really excited about the search capabilities of the remote, that I can just tell the remote, you know, find me new movies, new kids movies, skip ahead 7 minutes, wait, what did she say? It'll skip back 15 seconds. But TV, Apple TV, has been up to this point a niche product for Apple. Can it become a major product for Apple? Just $149. What do you guys think?
I think, again, you know, the hardware hasn't changed a lot, right? If streaming boxes and streaming sticks are the best that we've had, right, that's really not, I think, an expression of where this market goes, right? And a lot, again, it's been the hardware. Like, even in this conversation about commerce, the commerce has been bad. Like, we haven't had truly interactive commercials where we can buy from that because the hardware's been so bad. And so we've needed a hardware revolution on the TV. And I think, again, Apple said it, you know, clearly this is the foundation for the future of TV. We're maybe not there yet, but they're trying to put those pieces of the puzzle together. Things like apps, the new hardware, that's part of the skeleton, but it's again, it's an evolving narrative.
Just a step towards it.
So I will take a contrarian position. I think this is a transition product. TV as we know it is on a big screen, you know, remote, changing channels, or watching apps, essentially the same thing. I'm of the belief that kids who are growing up today, they are growing up consuming video on the phone, and the phones which are like phablets, I guess. And that's where the future of television lies. I don't think it lies in those big screens. I think TV is going to be for our generation, maybe 2 generations behind us. But anyone who's in there, like from age 5 to 15, that generation is growing up thinking about TV from YouTube whenever they want, just through a search. And I think Apple is very good at redefining the current paradigm and say, okay, this is great, let's reinvent how people do things now, and then figure out what will happen later. But I will go you know, against the grain and say that I think it's a good product for, you know, people who are not of the next generation.